Margaret had been waking up at exactly 3:12 every single night for 7 months. She'd lie there in the dark, heart thudding, mind racing, and she'd tell herself the same thing every time. I'm just getting older. This is what 73 feels like. Her doctor said the same thing at her annual checkup. Perfectly normal for your age. So she stopped mentioning it. She stopped worrying about it. She just accepted it. The way you accept bad knees, or a slower walk, or the way the cold settles into your bones now in a way it never did before. But Margaret was wrong to accept it, and so was her doctor. Because what was waking her up at 3 a.m. wasn't age. It was 5 very specific things happening inside her body, things that have names, explanations, and fixes. I'm telling you this not to frighten you, but because this is a truth that almost nobody talks about. And if you are waking up in the middle of the night, your body is not failing you. It is trying to tell you something. Here's what I want you to understand before we go any further. Waking at 3 a.m. is not a quirk. It is not random, and it is almost never simply just aging. For adults over 70, there is a very specific window between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. when the body becomes a kind of battlefield. Hormones shift, blood chemistry changes, old systems that worked quietly for decades start sending up flares. Most people sleep through it, but some of us can't. And the reason you can't sleep through it is not weakness, it is information. What I want to do today is walk you through the 5 reasons this happens, in plain language, no medical jargon, because once you understand what is actually happening, the solution becomes so much clearer. Let's start with the one that surprises people the most. The first danger, the blood sugar crash. The first reason you wake at 3 a.m. is a blood sugar crash, and it may be triggered by what you ate for dinner 12 hours earlier. Here's how it works. When you eat a high-carbohydrate evening meal, bread, pasta, rice, something sweet, your blood sugar rises. Your body releases insulin to bring it back down. And sometimes, especially after 70 when those systems are less precise, it brings it down too far. In the middle of the night, your blood sugar dips below a comfortable level, and your body responds the way it always has, by releasing adrenaline and cortisol to bring it back up. Those are not quiet hormones. They are your body's alarm system, and when they fire at 3 a.m., they wake you up, sometimes with a racing heart, sometimes with sweating, sometimes just with a sudden, inexplicable alertness that feels almost electric. Margaret's daughter, when she read about this, said that's exactly what she described, like someone flipped a switch. The fix is simpler than you'd expect. A small protein snack before bed, a few almonds, a slice of turkey, a spoonful of nut butter. Protein stabilizes blood sugar through the night. It doesn't solve everything, but for many people, it changes everything. The second truth is something almost no one talks about, and when you hear it, you'll wonder why. During the day, fluid accumulates in your legs. It's called dependent edema, and it happens to almost everyone, more so as we age. But here's what changes at night. The moment you lie flat, that fluid has nowhere to go but up. It redistributes through your body, and a significant amount of it finds its way to your bladder. After 70, the body also produces less of a hormone called ADH, or antidiuretic hormone, the chemical signal that tells your kidneys to hold fluid overnight. With less ADH, your kidneys keep working, your bladder keeps filling, and at around 3 a.m. it's full. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, you come back to bed, and now you're awake, truly awake, in a quiet house at 3 in the morning. The changes to help this are small but meaningful. Compression socks during the day help move fluid before it pools. Elevating your legs for 20 to 30 minutes before dinner lets gravity do the work early. And limiting fluids in the 2 hours before bed reduces the overnight load on your bladder. None of these are dramatic, but together they can give you back hours of sleep you thought were simply gone. The third reason brings us to something that is happening in every human being on Earth, but that hits differently after 70. Cortisol. The hormone we associate with stress follows a daily rhythm. It rises before dawn to prepare the body for waking, to get the blood moving, to sharpen the mind. It's a biological alarm clock that's been with us since before alarm clocks existed. But here's what changes with age. In younger adults, that cortisol rise happens gradually, beginning around 5 or 6 a.m. just before natural waking time. In adults over 70, that rise can happen earlier, sometimes significantly earlier. The curve that used to peak at sunrise now peaks at 3 a.m. And so your body wakes you up, not because something is wrong, but because the timing has shifted, because the rhythms that once aligned with the world around you have quietly drifted. This is why so many seniors describe the same thing, waking in the dark, feeling completely alert, not groggy, not ill, just awake, as though the day has somehow already started. Because in a very real sense, for your body, it has. The most meaningful thing you can do about this is protect your morning light exposure. Step outside within 30 minutes of waking, even on cloudy days. Natural light helps reset the circadian rhythm over time. It signals to your body when the day actually begins, and it slowly shifts that cortisol curve back to where it belongs. Before we get to the fourth and fifth reasons, and these are the two I really don't want you to miss, I want to pause for just a moment. If you've been waking at 3 a.m. and you've been telling yourself it doesn't matter, that it's just part of getting older, I want you to hear this. It matters. Your sleep matters. Your rest matters. You deserve to understand what is happening in your own body. If this conversation is resonating with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Every time you do, it helps this message reach someone else who might be lying awake right now, wondering the same things you once did. Now, let's talk about the one that doctors miss most often. Fourth, the breaking point: silent sleep apnea. When most people think of sleep apnea, they picture loud snoring, a partner being nudged awake, gasping, sputtering, obviously struggling for breath. But there is another version, quieter, subtler, and far more common in adults over 70 than most people realize. It's called silent sleep apnea, or mild obstructive apnea, and it doesn't always announce itself dramatically. Here's what happens. As we age, the muscles in the throat and airway lose tone, the same way muscles elsewhere in the body soften over time. During sleep, those muscles relax just enough to partially obstruct airflow, not enough to cause obvious gasping, but enough to reduce oxygen levels slightly. When oxygen drops, the brain responds, as it always has, by waking the body just enough to restore normal breathing. You may not even remember it. You may simply find yourself awake at 3 a.m. with no clear explanation. I'm telling you this not to frighten you, but because this is the one reason on this list that genuinely warrants a conversation with your doctor. A simple sleep study can identify it, and the treatments, positional therapy, a mandibular device, a CPAP if needed, can be life-changing. Margaret's husband John, it turned out, had mild sleep apnea for years. He thought he was a light sleeper. He wasn't. He was a man whose brain was quietly fighting for air every single night. Please don't dismiss this one.
The fifth hard truth: the napping trap. And now the fifth reason, and I'll admit this one is the hardest to hear, because it involves something many of us have come to love: the afternoon nap. Here's the truth about sleep that nobody explains clearly enough. Sleep is driven by something called adenosine, a chemical that builds up in the brain throughout the day, creating what scientists call sleep pressure. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine accumulates, and the more adenosine accumulates, the more deeply and continuously you sleep at night. But when you nap in the afternoon, especially after 2 p.m., especially for longer than 20 minutes, you release some of that adenosine early. You relieve the pressure. And when bedtime comes, there simply isn't enough left to carry you through the night. You fall asleep easily, but you can't stay there. And at 3 a.m., when the adenosine is fully spent and the deep sleep cycle is ending, you surface, you wake, and you can't get back down. The change here is difficult, I know. Some days the afternoon rest feels like survival. If napping is something you need, and for many seniors it genuinely is, try keeping it short, 20 minutes or less, and try to finish by early afternoon. Think of it less as sleep and more as a brief reset, enough to restore energy without spending the sleep you'll need that night. Margaret, after 7 months of 3 a.m. wake-ups, made 3 small changes. She added a handful of almonds to her evening routine. She started wearing compression socks during the day, and she asked her doctor for the first time about a sleep study. She told me she felt foolish for how long she'd waited, for how long she'd accepted broken sleep as the price of getting older. But here's what I want to leave you with. You do not have to simply accept this. The 3 a.m. wake-up is serious, but it is not a sentence. It is a signal, and signals, when you understand them, can be answered. Your body is not failing you, it is talking to you, and you are wise enough and strong enough to listen. What has your experience been? Have you been waking in the night and wondering why? Please share your story in the comments below. Your wisdom could be the lifeline someone else needs to read today. And if this conversation resonated with you, if it gave you something you needed, please like this video and subscribe to Honest Senior. You'll help others find this conversation, and together we can redefine what it means to age with dignity.